Hello everyone, and welcome to the Proving Grounds. Today, we are getting straight into Dungeon Explorers, Warriors of the Ancient Arts. If you're not familiar with Dungeon Explorers, it's a Hudson Soft property that was on the TurboGrafx 16. This is the 5th entry in the series. The PSP game, I think the PSP India's game came out basically the same time, so they're the 5th, 6th entries and the last entries that come out that I'm aware of. Not referring to any like mobile stuff or anything. And it's important to note that the PSP and the DS games are named the same in the western portion of the world, but they are not the same game. So, let's get into this. So, story-wise, the game opens up with a bunch of goblins talking about the events of the game that happened long, long ago, about necromancers who weighted a pyramid with an ancient evil god sealed in it. And of course, these necromancers caused horrible things to happen, which caused monsters to invade, which causes chaos. Now, if you're not familiar with Dungeon Explorer, it was a mix of Gauntlet, like, what if you had Gauntlet with more traditional RPG stuff, like a town, NPCs, and a story going on in it, really. This builds on that, but I wouldn't say it goes in a very good direction. It adds a little bit of Diablo flavor into it, having a lot more gear options than that, which was one of the disappointing things I found in the game. You'll create a character. There are 3 races, 3 classes, and later on you get access to advanced classes. But to cut it down simply, you got melee, range, and magic user. I played through the game as a magic user. Now, you might ask how this kind of game might work exactly on the DS, because it has spells, abilities, items, and things, and what it uses is a hotkey system where you assign them to the X, Y, B, and A, but only certain things can be assigned to certain buttons and that. But you'll have your abilities assigned to your attack, which is assigned to a kind of a stamina meter, kind of like how in Secret of Mana or Secret of Evermore, where if you let get full, you do better damage. In this game, when you do that, it, depending on your class and that, will do a kind of little extra special, like my magic user shoots an orb, or I can change it where the orb goes around me, protecting me. But I also have access to spells, healing, and such, and then you get keys, potions, and all the sort that you can use to keep yourself alive in a traditional-esque, Diablo-esque eventually. Now, visually, you're probably saying this game looks like crap, and it does. Like, there's not going to be a lot of good things to say about this game. The game looks awful. Like, it has no nice aesthetic or graphic fidelity to it. And being an original DS title, I don't think a lot of people would expect a very high graphic fidelity, as that was a pretty rare thing for the original DS. But having a nice art style is how you can counter that problem, and the art style just looks awful. Aside from the 2D assets, you would basically barely be able to tell this is really a fucking Japanese game, honestly. The way the characters look on the world map versus their 2D anime art just looks bafflingly different, like, odd as heck. Now, in town, you do have access to shops like blacksmith and be able to store your items and money and such. Now, something this game has that's really weird is robots. These act as like pets, and you have to pay for them and pay for stuff or find stuff to upgrade them with. Now, I didn't mess with the robots much, because when I did, they're stupid. They're stupid and they die easily, very easily in the late game. Like, they have a big use for the early portion, but when you're in the late game, they just... They either need a lot of upgrades or they're just junk. And I don't really understand the idea behind them, honestly, because I never was able to really make them useful. Now you might be like, well, just go revive it and improve it some more. Well, that's the problem. You don't do that. When it dies, you have to buy a new one and start over again. You don't get stuff back. It's a buy and dead deal. It's like, what? So you better, if you mess with it, you better make the best robot you can. Now, I did want to do a little research for this game, and there's just not a lot of information about this game outside of, like, looking for reviews and stuff saying it's mediocre. I couldn't even, like, get it. Like, I was kind of curious of some other opinions. Sometimes on a game like this, I sometimes take a look at other people's reviews to kind of see what was, like, what is a common issue the general public had about the game. And there wasn't even a single review I could find, actually, for this game on YouTube. So it's just that basically non-existent towards anyone's radar. That completely forgotten. Now, you don't use the touchscreen on this, so it actually has an option where you can swap the two screens around to what you prefer to look at. The other screen is for the menu and the map in the game, and it will display your items and stuff within that. It's pretty much just a generic dungeon crawl. The story I didn't find very interesting, and the gameplay is so dead that you could get the level 99 in the very first area if you wanted to, which was something I made use of, like, late game, where the bosses were becoming so cheap and so ridiculously annoying. I just did it. I think it was like level 50 or something at that point. Now, what do I mean in that regards? When you hold the A button, which is your generic attack button, you can hold it down, your character will continuously attack. Now, being part gauntlet, there are generators that spawn enemies, so if you put yourself in the right position where you won't harm the generator but kill all the spawns, you can leave your character there with something holding the button down on your DS and just leave it there. Because you get the minimum of 1 EXP from weak things, so eventually you can be max level. And I admit I did that because this game was really just that awful in my opinion. Like, I can't really recommend this game. It wasn't really fun or anything. I wouldn't even really recommend it as a time waster. This is like one of those situations where there's so many other generic average games that I could easily recommend over this. Like, there were so many things you are better off wasting your time with than this. Now, it has multiplayer for the Pyramid, which is where all the multiplayer for the game is. You can't play the story mode in multiplayer. It's a single player affair only. If you want to dabble in the multiplayer, you'll have to do the kind of trick where you trick your DS to thinking it's like connecting to a DS nearby, but you're actually doing it through your router of the internet. You can do that with this game, but good luck finding anyone who really wants to play with you with this. I will admit, I feel like there were certain elements in this game I didn't fully understand because there isn't a place to really find a lot of the information for that. Like, if you look on Game FAQs, this game virtually has nothing about it on there. I feel like the robot thing might be just a case of needing better stuff, but the fact that you lose and stuff made me fearful of messing with it anymore on that. I didn't really enjoy the game. It looks awful. The music is awful. It's not memorable. The characters are all generic. I don't really have a lot to say, but say like this is just a complete void in my opinion. There are many great and fantastic JRPGs on the DS, and this is not one of them. I got this from GameStop on one of their, like, you know, buy two get one free or buy one get one free, one of those things where it was like $2.99, which I mean, I guess if you're really desperate for something like this, like $1 or $2 isn't a horrible price for it, but I couldn't even recommend really buying this for $5, honestly. Mine's a loose cart. It didn't have a case or booklet or anything. Now, looking up the prices for this game, if you were to want to actually get this game, you're looking at around $10 as a minimum to just get a loose cartridge, to about 15 plus to getting a complete, and you know, like I think it's about 40 if you want a sealed copy for whatever the untold fucking reasons you want. I would, unless you're like some really big Hudson Soft fan, or you want to complete the Dungeon Explorer series, outside of that, I can't really recommend this game to anyone. Honestly, like, even if you're so desperate for a Gauntlet-esque game, which you can easily find many other Gauntlet-style games, this ain't it, Chief. It's a real shame, because I never got to play the Dungeon Explorer series before. It's something I've always wanted to try, and this was my first foray into the franchise, and I feel like I went Fallout 76 on this. Like that, it's like, well, I've played the War Century, so whenever I play one of the other ones, it's only, I only have up to go. So yeah, Void, don't buy. Don't. No recommendation. If you must buy, get only for like $1 or $2. Like, seriously. Now, the game does offer like a New Game Plus, where you can carry over your stuff and begin the story anew at a temple in the game and that. So it offers replay value and stuff. Like, though, it offers a lot of the elements that you would expect from a game like this to be able to replay multiplayer and stuff. But it's just, it don't do it for me, Chief. Go get Diablo 2. Go play almost virtually any Gauntlet except for that PC one. What was that, 3 or 4? I can't remember now. It's been so long. That PC Gauntlet game. Ugh. Not a good entry. Anyway, yeah, avoid like the plague. So, if you got any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. You can also message me on Twitch if you're watching this on Twitch. And let's go ahead and get into spoilers, I guess. Because, well, there is a plot, like I said. People and that. So, these necromancers, you know, they're just trying to take over everything. And they basically took a seed of this god, which is called Breed. Kind of wondering about the name selection here, but they basically were able to make a kind of an incomplete child version of Breed, and, well, you stop them, destroy it, and yay. Fantastic. Now, the pyramid itself actually has its own little additional story to it. You can tackle the pyramid solo or multiplayer. As I said, it is multiplayer, but you're likely, if you're going to, you're likely going to have to go by yourself. And believe me, you'll want to be fucking level 99 for this. I did not beat the pyramid, but I did get to the final boss of the pyramid. And it, even at fucking level 99, it fucking trounced me. Now, I understand what to do for the fight, but there's no way I would fucking spend all the time to get back down there again. Especially the fight before the final fight is so fucking annoying. Not fun at all. It was a grueling and terrible time to go through the pyramid, and it's just But basically, you go through the pyramid, kill Breed, and there you go. You've saved the land. A pretty generic story, pretty unmemorable. So, yeah. Now, as I said, the PSP game has the same name as this game. From what I understand, they are virtually different games, so I would imagine the story and everything is also completely different. It's not one of those, they're different games, but, you know, it's same kind of story and setting and everything. As far as I know, they're completely different, but I've never played the PSP game, just throw it out there. And, yeah, forgettable story, forgettable game, don't recommend, just stay away, go go play just virtually anything else, please. I don't know, like, how, like, a simple little hack and slash can work on the DS. It's not that I can't see it not working on a DS, it's just, I just don't know what they were thinking with a lot of this. I really don't, but yeah, don't buy this. It's a skip. It's a skip. Anyway, if you feel like you learned anything in this much shorter than my normal reviews video, feel free to leave a like. And if you feel like you learned nothing at all, or possibly was tortured horribly because of this, feel free to leave a dislike guilt-free. And until next time, please play something much better.